Welcome to Mainstream Matchups, and thanks for listening in. I'm your host, Tyler James. Mainstream Matchups is a podcast to discuss, analyze, and debate sports and sports news. This morning, we welcome Chris Young, former football player, now D-line coach at Highland High School, and Sam D, soccer coach, trainer, and tactics fanatic at DOF Soccer Academy, and head coach of the fantastic U11 Shakopee boys team. So we're here to talk about EPL matchups, English Premier League, and much more. I'm really excited. So Sam D, we want to talk about the MLS. We got a couple things I wanted to touch on. Orlando is to host the 2019 MLS All-Star Game. How do you feel about that? Is that a good location?
I mean, bar the natural disasters, right? Orlando is a beautiful place to be. It's sunny. I mean, there's like a lot of things to do. Of course, it's very marketable. Yeah.
Got you. Did you happen to catch the USA versus Mexico friendly?
No, but I've read up on it, and it seems like Mexico has like a villain in Matt Miazga or something like that.
Oh yeah,
Now,
our 6'4" defender.
right?
Did you happen to catch how he mocked the 18-year-old
Yeah, it looked like
Mexican
that.
up and comer?
That's what I'm saying. Like I saw that picture. And that's the vibe that I got from it.
It was not a good look on Matt Miyagi. I was kind of thrown off by it. It just was kind of childish. USA did get the victory 1-0. Do you see the USA being able to resurge with this young team?
I mean, first I want to say I hope it's not this whole vibe of USA versus Mexico thing that is leaking into the sport because that's not something pretty.
It's a healthy rivalry. I think that's safe to say. I was just saying USA had won 1-0 versus Mexico. Do you
Right.
think with this young team that USA is going to be able to resurge back onto the international scene instead of, dwindling out into the end and not being able to make the World Cup?
Yo, just look at kids that are coming in, right? One is Weah. Weah is playing in PSG, right? Pulisic is playing at Dortmund, and they have the defender Matt Miazga, or is it Miaga?
No, it's got
Miazga,
the
right?
Z in there. I
Yeah,
just can't
yeah.
say it.
So,
Yeah.
so he's at Chelsea. There are a lot of players that are out there, right, and not just out there, but actually playing, right, that are coming back to play for the national team. And you'll see more of that, and you'll see the MLS creating its own and sending it out there. And then you'll see some that are coming here because again, MLS is now paying. So yes, there is that environment for something good to come out of. But then also, I suppose I just said that the MLSC is making
Yeah,
its own. So then,
I completely agree. There's a lot of advertisement
so
within the MLS right now,
right,
especially with David Beckham
right,
going and releasing the idea 2020 that he's going to be able to set up Inter Miami FC.
exactly. So like,
But I wanted to get to your question real quick, Chris. What were you going to say?
I was gonna ask. It was a fleeting thought. Definitely was.
Let's
a
hear
fleeting
this
thought.
fleeting
So
thought.
you guys were talking about earlier how much back in like the early 2000s MLS. How much money was it again?
Oh, so they would make an average from 30 to 60,000. It was a lot less now. So they're making upwards to an average of 100K to possibly 200K a person now.
right, like the lower spectrum is 200K. Then you get the highest is 800K. And then there's a story of like this Suzuki guy, right? That was living, who's now one of the guys making over a mil, right? He used to like rent out a place at his buddy's, right? And then he used to make 30K or something like that, right? But just to finish the question, you were saying, do I see that the US could become a powerhouse or something like that in that sense? Yes, but again, England suffers from having too many imports. And then also, Senegal struggles from having too many players out there coming back here for like a few days and then training. You understand?
For example, France,
Exactly.
who their parents aren't natural born from France, but they are as a person. So yeah, I get what you're saying in the controversy surrounding
Oh
that.
no
Yeah.
no no, not the controversy, but that it doesn't. It takes a lot more time to gel. So if you're playing in England and the other dude's playing in France, the other playing dude's playing in Germany, there's all kind of different ways that people play. And then if you're a national team, you have to bring all these guys out here for a weekend and get them to merge and play. but there are other countries whose talent is actually within, right? So then they don't take it much, right? They play today and tomorrow,
Spain,
and then you know what I
Germany.
mean. They're
Right.
always together, so they're always playing. And
Right.
just even just sitting around, just talking to your buddy and stuff like that. There's none of that,
Right.
right? So that's another. That's
Do you
something to
believe
consider.
a language barrier is that a little bit to cause that? Because you have so many people who are from all around the world.
Right.
You know, I can't speak German, but if I went, to go play in German, do you see us getting along very well because we can't speak to each other?
Dude, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of things that like make for a good relationship, but communication is very important. And a team and communication facility makes things go very fast.
Right.
If we were here and we couldn't speak to each other verbally, I'm sure we can get along fine with. So then, yes, like the thing is, soccer you gotta perform right now and stuff like that. Yes, communication and language barriers become sort of become very big issues just because of how fast things have to go. If you can get a German speaker in the German team, it saves a lot of time. It saves a lot of translating. It saves a lot of money. You know what I mean, in terms
Right.
of like babysitting.
That's a good point. I would like to just point out that Minnesota United play Real Salt Lake. Hopefully we can get that W. Go Loons. I'd like to jump to the EPL. We've got three teams who are unbeaten at this point. Any surprises there?
Dude, yes, there is a surprise, man.
To say the least, right?
Oh my goodness, right? But I'm gonna say I'm a Liverpool fan, so I don't even have to say it. You guys will pick it up from this whole thing. But yes, I am a Liverpool fan, and I am surprised that we are perfect right now. I'm always surprised. Yes, we're only four in, I suppose. The numbers make sense. But if Chelsea does well, Chelsea has better odds of doing it.
So to
Exactly.
be clear, the teams that do remain unbeaten are Liverpool, Chelsea,
And
and
Watford,
and Watford.
whatever, which is the biggest surprise.
Watford, yes.
Right.
Last year, do you know how they fared? I think they were towards the bottom of the group, right?
To be honest, I don't remember.
Got you. That's fine. Who on Liverpool for you is making a difference right now?
Oh my goodness. And that is the thing, right? Liverpool is that team that does not depend on one person. But I have to say that when Firmino does well, which he often does well, Liverpool does well.
Okay. Firmino. I've always taken a light to Wijnaldum. I think he's got
Oh
one
my
of the better
goodness,
touches,
bro.
and he uses his body spectacular throughout
I
the
like
game.
the guy and I cheer for the guy too. But then like after a couple of years,
Do you
Wijnaldum,
expect more?
yes, because of like you see it because you everybody can see what he has. But the thing is, something is just not clicking. And he was scoring at Newcastle. He took over, but he might be one of those players that if he is in a crowd of people that aren't as good, and then he can do whatever he wants, he'll kill it. But if he has to function within a group, this won't work.
Got you. Is there any other teams on in the PL standings that kind of just make you think, wow, how are they there? Or like, wow, you should be there actually.
Dude, Chelsea, I suppose. Chelsea's just like trying to just sort of chugs along, and it's like that turtle that finishes in the end. And it's so like it could win, yes, but if others do well, which they should do well, then Chelsea will not win. And they go through Jorginho, and Jorginho basically does everything. He passes you the ball, then he comes and gets it. Then he passes it to somebody else, then he comes and gets it. Until it gets past opponent's half, until it gets to the attacking third, Jorginho really does everything. So I'm wondering how long he can keep that up. You know what I mean? 4 games, cool, but this is the EPL. People are hitting you all the time, dude. And now they have Conte playing up there, which is a good idea. But again, Jorginho, how long can he last doing that? And the EPL has no break. Everybody else has like winter break. The EPL has no break.
True. I think one of the biggest standouts for me right now is to see Arsenal and Manchester United at 2 wins, 0 draws, and 2 losses. Do you see both teams having the same issue, or what is really going on with the two?
Oh,
These are
man.
heavy hitters, right? These are supposed to be top four UFA Champion League
Dude, I am
teams.
so excited you asked, right? And he's been killing me because I've been wanting to shout this out to the world. One, Arsenal, right? I am excited that the coach put in that Ganduzi kid. I was an Arsenal fan before, and I don't want anybody to call me out saying that I'm like reverting. That's not what's happening. But that kid is nice.
Clearly a
Right?
Liverpool fan
Right,
still.
yes. But this kid has what it takes for Arsenal to really get Ozil into his game and Mkhitaryan into his game. And Lacazette has gotten into his game. And I think he's finally winning people's confidence. And the cool thing is, he doesn't care. Nobody has had confidence in him. You can't avoid it anymore. This dude should be playing.
I agree with you. He should be playing. Who else should be in the middle right now with Arsenal?
That's the thing.
Because you have plentiful of options.
Yeah,
Well, you got Xhaka.
Ganduzi comes in there, and Ganduzi is going to work in a similar way to Jorginho. But the difference is Ganduzi is not going to get every ball. He's going to come there, he's going to get the ball, he's going to look up, he's going to figure out, okay, where should I get it? And he brings in pressure to open up the space for Ozil and Mkhitaryan to do what they can do.
Gotcha.
And the guy is good at placing himself in the right place now when they lose it to plug the gap and not allow for counterattack.
Got you. Arsenal, offensively, I've never really had an issue with Arsenal. I'm more concerned with the change at coach, and I'm worried about the defense. What are we going to do about that defense? Because I feel like we've hit a lull, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the past 3 to 4 years, we have just not been able to defend.
You know, the same year that they bought the German center back, Mustafi, Barca bought Umtiti for cheaper.
And did you see what they did? He has a release clause of $400 million.
For Mustafi?
No, from Titi for Barcelona.
Dude, there you
But
go.
he's young.
That's what I'm saying. Umtiti is so much more useful than Mustafi. Mustafi hasn't really. Dude, I'll go on this tangent. That was a bad choice. But again, this kid, he does it well. He does good on defense, but on offense, right? But the thing is, he places himself on both when he's attacking. So you want to attack, but at the same time, while you're attacking, you got to make sure that you're covering your back. That's what I'm saying. So the kid does that. He positions himself in a good position where he's attacking well, but at the same time, as soon as we lose it, he's right there, plugging it, right? That will Ozil is firing. If the offense is firing, now the other team has to deal more with you. And the issue is we've had Ozil defending. We've had with the problem. What you have to do is make sure that the other team has to deal with Ozil's offense.
Rather
Right?
than trying to have him defend.
Yes, that's the thing, right? Ozil got more guns than you. Instead of you trying to like shield with your tiny little, just boom.
So let's get into some of these matchups. On Saturday we have Tottenham versus Liverpool. Who do you have winning that game?
Dude, again, I'm a Liverpool fan.
So is this completely biased or what?
I can still look at it objectively, right? I'll try. Liverpool's 5 for 5 right now. I believe Tottenham's got 3 wins and sort of they're 10. So Liverpool obviously is feeling itself more than Tottenham. Tottenham is dangerous. They have free flowing. They have Harry Kane. They have fullbacks. They can hit a free kick better than most offensive players. But because
Trippier,
but
Danny
because
Rose.
they attack, which opens themselves, which opens up to being attacked, and Liverpool will confront you. So they both of them are like shooting, man. But Liverpool's defense has shown itself capable, or at least Liverpool's offense hasn't opened itself up to the counter attacks that they used to. So I'm gonna go with Liverpool edging.
Edging Tottenham. Do you have a score?
In soccer, it's always hard to. This is gonna be big. It's gonna be like it's gonna be 4-3, maybe 3-2, but the chances are there. The thing is, both teams are really wasteful too at times.
So each team is going to get their chances. Who's going to be able to convert those chances? Who's going to be clinical?
Tottenham is clinical more than Liverpool.
Man, Harry Kane, he looks so legit.
Oh my goodness, man.
He is your prototypical forward. Big, can do everything on the ball, holds the game up, can turn off of it. I don't know if I've seen a more complete forward, even though I think Lukaku right now is showing great promise to be probably regarded as one of the top forwards.
I'm sorry. I just yes, there are times there was this header he had, and that gives you still hope. But I feel like, dude, Lukaku shaved up his dreads, man. You know, like
it's over.
that potential,
the magic's gone.
Yeah, the potential. You know,
no.
At this point, I think he's becoming himself. You know, he's gonna give you maybe 20 to dominate like Drogba used to. No.
That was the problem. They always compared him to Drogba,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
when he was a kid, even
Right.
when he was a
Exactly. I
little
remember
kid
16.
playing over for Anderlecht.
Right, but that was a little kid in a man's body.
My goodness, was it ever leading the league? My goodness.
Oh.
Our next matchup, AFC Bournemouth versus Leicester City. What do you see with that game?
Man, to be honest, man, these games at the beginning, we still don't know enough, right? So I'm gonna have to go based on like what I know from past seasons. And
Mhm.
Leicester has still they've lost Mahrez. We got this Madison guy that's like a bit shorter, more jacked. He's got something in him, right? He's not as fluid, but and they still have Ray. You know what I mean? They have Vardy.
I look
It's
forward to see Leicester City go ahead. They need to perform
right,
again.
right.
That is a good team. You've lost, Mares, the pieces that were there that helped you get to where you needed to be able to win a title. But I still see a lot of hope for them. I still see them winning games. I don't see Bournemouth being able to put up much.
Bournemouth also has a good coach and stuff like
yeah,
that.
they're gonna try to sit back, absorb, and then they're gonna try to counter when they can. And I feel like Leicester will try to do the same thing. Our next matchup is Chelsea versus Cardiff City.
Yeah,
Do you feel bad for Cardiff City? Chelsea
I think
on the
Chelsea.
roll.
Yeah, I think Chelsea is perfect right now, and I'm just gonna say Chelsea's going to win this. Obviously, I put 3-1. Chelsea's perfect right now for the moment. Right, Jorginho is able to carry the team. They have Hazard, of course. Kante is looking better with every game. This dude cannot do wrong. People joked could run the entire world. They decided, all right, now let's shrink the world. Imagine this was bing, 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 bing. Genius.
So our next matchup, Huddersfield Town versus Crystal Palace.
I'm just gonna say 1-1.
I don't see much action there. Manchester City versus Fulham.
4-0. Fulham is getting goals, right? But Manchester City, dude, you can't stop them.
Just heavyweight right now.
Yes.
I'm even surprised they had one loss already. I thought they'd be
No,
up there.
they tied.
They're 3-0. Oh, they're tied. Yeah,
They're
you're right.
tied.
That's right. That's right. Next is Newcastle United versus my Arsenal Gunners.
Ooh, that's what I'm saying, man. I just want to go back to the topic of Ganduzi.
Yeah, feeling really strong about this kid.
They're starting to score. I want to say the coach is doing a good job. I was feeling a bit nervous, but when he introduced Ganduzi, I was like, what? Which it's important because Wenger brought in Cesc Fabregas at 16 years old and trusted the kid to lead the team that had just basically won and did not lose a season. I mean, the next generation was that, right? And this guy goes to the French league and brings in a kid who was playing in the second league and puts him in the first game of the season. Like, that draws attention.
So you
Right?
feel the makings of history repeating itself.
Right,
I see.
but I'm not spiritual or nothing, right? I'm not religious. Maybe a bit spiritual.
But
I'm
you
not
feel
religious.
it. You feel
But
it inside.
but I'm saying like that's a big step. I'm saying these kind of decisions, these are big kind of decisions, bro. You got to be a big person to make that kind of decision. Otherwise, you just put the spotlight on yourself just to make yourself a fool. So I was like, all right. So the dude got cojones, right? Then you watch the kid, and the kid too is brave. Fast forward a couple of games, he plays against Hazard. Hazard steps, kid breaks Hazard without any kind of hesitation, breaks the line, and because Hazard was the first, he broke that. That team didn't have time to like readjust.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he was guns ahead, ablaze, right? So I'm saying like that kid's got it. But the thing is, now Arsenal is shooting itself in the foot. How do we allow this kid to best do his job? They're not doing that, right? So I'm saying maybe that's where the coach is failing. You gotta tell Xhaka to get out of the way. I think these two could work together, but I think in the end, a lot of people would say that new signing, this Hispanic dude, he's Latino somewhere from like South America or something, and he's nice, right? They compare everybody to Kante nowadays. He's nice. He can control the ball, but I always have a hesitation with having shorter guys being responsible for the ball. You know what I mean? Because they will isolate you. I've seen Manchester City do this to Arsenal. They put Flamini in the middle, and Manchester City basically created this big circle around Flamini. They let him have it, but as soon as they attacked and lost it, right? So I have that hesitation. and Ganduzi can do it, and I think Xhaka can do it. The thing is, Ganduzi can come here into that circle, get the ball, and then get it out. Then once now the defensive end comes out, we rotate, right? You come in, you watch this guy plays a bit higher, right? And the kid can also, he's smart enough to know, there's too much of a mess here. I'm gonna get out, let this guy get it, and then find it to me, and then I get it. And he has range. Now we're talking about getting everybody out of the way of the kid, and that's a big decision again. But you can't go halfway, dude. Otherwise, it's gonna look bad for the kid. It's gonna look bad for you. And some people, when something goes wrong, they have a tendency to reject the whole thing. And that kid, you're looking to lose big rejecting.
Our next matchup, Watford versus Manchester United. I'm really curious to see, are they going to be able to sustain that success? I know Manchester United has been having trouble with teams that you would think they'd be able to put away. So
Right. I put Watford will beat Manchester United. And again, I recognize that I'm a bit biased. I love to see Liverpool win, but close second, I love to see Manchester United just lose, man. Oh my goodness.
Oh man,
But
I can feel it.
It's been shambles, bro. They have the same issue. Pogba is a player that you can kill you from afar, he can kill you from near. And they have the same issue that Arsenal has, is that they will not leave Pogba the space to do his job. Right? You got Fred always coming in here. He gives you the ball and then he wants it back. Right, dude? Pogba needs babysitting. Pogba, of all the people on the team, Pogba is the dude you want to leave. You know, Pogba got these tricks. Let him do him. With these tricks, he's still able to keep the ball. But he needs space because he got long legs and stuff like that. But these dudes are all over him. If they do that, which I saw hints at, right? When they, which was curious because it was when they had Fellaini in there and Matic in there. And I thought, I saw him like this, and it was beautiful because it was like looking like those old school type of players, you know what I mean? Like the Rude Gullets and stuff like that. These tall dudes in the middle, right? That are just like, they're shooting themselves in the foot. Them too.
I agree. What you're saying about that, and that would conclude the Saturday games. On Sunday, they got Wolverhampton versus Burnley. How do you feel about that game?
Dude, I know the same thing, but I also know that a lot of these EPL teams have invested big. So like you have, what is it? Huddersfield actually. Huddersfield has a few Portuguese internationals like Moutinho, who a few years ago, like you had people like how much Manchester United would have paid for that guy? How much were they paying for him at Monaco? You know, like these are big guys. Rui Patricio, this is a legit goalkeeper. These are quick goalkeepers that Arsenal and stuff like that wanted to have to stabilize their defenses, right?
Your next matchup, Everton versus West Ham United. West Ham has looked pretty awful. They're 0-4 right now. Everton, they're doing pretty well. I think they're sitting around the top.
Yeah.
Do you see Everton being able to continue the success this week?
You asked me a question earlier. Is there somebody that has shocked me to be in the position they are in? And that is West Ham. The team looks beautiful, but it's just like something is. They're shooting empty bullets.
Whatever can go wrong with them right now is going wrong. They
Right.
just don't have an offense, and they can't defensively. They can't stop it.
I think like they're just unfortunate in ways, right? I think they have the base to build something good. Everton has the next Galactico, Richarlison.
Oh yeah, he does look good.
This dude just put in 2 goals in Brazil's like 5-7-0 game win over somebody, right? The ball came to the kid. The kid didn't even hesitate. Somebody was running towards him. His own teammate. The kid put a foot through it. It was like one of those Thierry Henry bends, bro. Right? I'm saying like in terms of time and in terms of space, the gap was very, very minuscule, bro. And boom, it was just instinctual, like Harry Kane type, right? But the thing is, the kid got more quickness than Harry Kane.
I look forward to hearing more about him. Monday, there's one game: Southampton versus Brighton Hove Albion. Fireworks going off in this game.
I think they've been doing decently, but Southampton has now basically achieved the same status as an Everton, right? So you always expect that they should be solid. Right?
Got you. That was our last matchup. Do you see a top four this year, or is it too early to even say?
Dude, yes. where within that, like who's first, who's second, who's third, fourth.
Yeah, who's going to the Champions League?
That's gonna be hard. But Manchester City has to. At this point, Liverpool lose spectacularly, yes, but now they burn out, but within like the top. You know what I mean? Before they would go burn out spectacularly over there and then finish out lower. But now they, you know what I mean? They still are consistent even through their like crazy inconsistencies. So they will end up there. I think Manchester United, if they can stop shooting themselves in the foot, will. And I think Tottenham at this point, and this might be my old Arsenal, you know,
Straight to the heart.
sort of
Leaving
like,
Arsenal out
Yes.
again for a second
Right.
straight year.
I'm saying, I didn't even realize this. That's what I'm saying, I didn't even realize it. But I was thinking, Tottenham, even though I want to resist this, and I think that's an old Arsenal tendency, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
the funniest thing, like, I just want to go on a funny tangent, right? Ian, before the World Cup started, this is an Arsenal legend, right? And there's this rivalry between Arsenal and Tottenham as the North London clubs. This dude goes on Twitter and says, I'm a bit nervous seeing that England has mainly Tottenham players. And
my.
you know that's a dig at Tottenham, right?
That's
a-
almost a dig at Arsenal too, though. Because who's not there? Not Arsenal players. Oh, you didn't
yeah.
even see it that
no,
way.
No. But I'm saying that was funny because that was kind of you know what I mean. But yeah, Tottenham at this point, man, with their Pochettino, have constantly been doing it, and although they haven't, they are the team to watch normally for English teams in the Champions League. That's the thing. They are a good team, but they might be in the wrong league. Might be in the wrong league. In the Spanish league, they are fluid. But the thing is, in the EPL, but they're still kind of rugged at the same time. So
I like that. We wanted to kind of sidetrack off and go ahead and each give an interesting storyline, something that we thought needed to be told. Chris, what do you have for us to finish this up?
I think last week, Wednesday, marked the 5th year anniversary that wrestling was reintroduced to the Olympics back in 2011. It was taken out of the Olympics in around February. It was later that year in September, actually September, I think 5th, which was last week, the IOC re-voted to have it revoked. So wrestling wouldn't have been in the Olympics if not that case 5 years ago. I mean, the Olympics is something like a lot of people look up to on an international level, you know. So to have one of the original sports taken out of there, especially for wrestling, the amount of survival, the rate of survival, it would dwindle. I would think without the Olympics, wrestling would definitely dwindle.
And I think wrestling gets a lot of their spotlight from doing the Olympics, because you don't rather than like a national college setups. So I think that's extremely interesting.
you know what's interesting, right? The number one sport in Senegal, that's where I was born, right, is wrestling. But it's a different kind of wrestling than the wrestling at the Olympics. And there's like sumo wrestling. So I wonder how it'd be an interesting like thing to have like, alright, so this year we'll have sumo wrestling in the Olympics, and then like in 4 years let's have
So
Senegalese
being able
wrestling.
to expand it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because now then you get a bit more interest within like the communities in Japan, in Senegal, and stuff like that.
Well, that was some of the rule changes that they made. They reintroduced women's wrestling. They changed a little bit about it, and they introduced the juniors Olympic wrestling too. So now they made it a little bit more fun to watch and easier to understand. So they took out some old classic rules to reinstall new rules like a shot clock. Like you have to make an offensive move in 30 seconds, or otherwise you're penalized.
And are people like against that?
People loving that.
Yeah.
People are loving that.
Even,
that up.
Even the old people. Even
the old people. Get matches going, you know.
Every generation's loving it. That's beautiful.
That's cool. That's the first time. That's the first time, man. That's the first time.
Sam D, what storyline did you want to share?
You know, we were talking about like the whole Serena Williams, and I want to get you guys' take on it first before I share mine.
For me, honestly, I think it's a bad look, the officials. You don't need to go ahead and try to boycott your entire entertainment base everything about that sport for women's tennis is Serena right now, and to go ahead and to even act like that was okay is. Do I think she acted completely appropriate? No, I think she may have misworded some things, but I think the entire premise of fighting for herself, to be able to fight for herself in that game, was everything, and that's what I took for it. Because she also was completely for, I believe it's Naomi Osaka, the Haitian and Japanese tennis player who ended up winning, and gave her immense support, even though dealing with that controversy. So.
I'm not too knowledgeable on the situation. I just know that she's being boycotted, so I think that in itself is pretty unjust. I mean, why would you boycott? It's not like referees that get thrown around in the NFL go and go boycott NFL players, or referees in basketball that get ran into, or like referees in hockey that
Oh,
just get lit up on a check.
the thing is, if you're getting run into, that's an accident versus.
And also to keep in mind, to act like that was a big outburst from Serena, it wasn't. There's been plenty of people. McEnroe, I'm pretty sure he would have had something to do with that. Like, there's plenty of people who've had bigger outbursts and didn't really see any repercussions, did they?
I think that's where we have to stick to, right? Is have they reacted this way before to somebody else doing it? But then at the same time, understanding that just because they didn't react this way before doesn't mean that it didn't justify being reacted this way. I'm saying like they have to understand that they set a precedent before this, right? So they can't suddenly just go pull out like, I we can. I mean, otherwise it makes them seem like they're just against her. But just be like, from this point on, we will not be taking any of this abuse, right, from players. Because I do understand that players, this makes sense. You have somebody that's worth 200 million, or I don't know how much, right? And then you have somebody that's obviously not worth anywhere near that, right? That power dynamic, right, goes to people's heads. And I'm not saying that they're bad people, you know what I'm saying, but that type power dynamic goes to people's heads. And this person, this ref, deserves to be respected as a human being, and just like that person. And then that person who's worth 200 million doesn't deserve any pedestal, right? So there has to be a even ground right there. And I'm always for unionizing. You know what I mean? So like I'm saying that if they want to be a union, I think they should, right? And I think the players should be also a union, right? And have the support, right? Because in the end, when they go against their bosses, you know what I mean? We know where the power dynamic in that. So I'm saying here is a good spot for a lot of people to learn. And let's not just go team this, team that, you know what I mean? Serena Williams has to also be looked at, you know what I mean? Like her actions, you know what I mean? And let's not just, because like the times are a bit rocky right now, right? And sometimes we don't want to say things just because it looks bad, because we don't want to be sort of negative towards women, you know what I mean, or black people. But if a woman does something, right, that does deserve to be called out for, we gotta call it out. It's like a black person does it, we gotta call it out. You know what I mean? To not call it out is
Almost worse. Okay.
yeah, you know what I mean? So let's
Not
let's
giving
not get
anybody
yeah,
any preferential
exactly. Let's not get into these teams, right? Let's look at this thing and then look at try to be objective in it, right? And see that it could be something that could come out very good for everybody.
And I think you're going even almost into like possibly political realm of why things are happening. But I want to get back into our interesting storylines. Mine for the week is Colin Kaepernick. Nike, they went ahead and made a deal and made a commercial. Pretty powerful impact. Did you have either of you seen it?
I've seen it.
I haven't seen the commercial, but I've seen the ad.
What did you guys think of it?
In a sense, it's kind of weird. Nike supports the NFL. There are a lot of NFL owners that are in favor of penalizing people for kneeling. That's unjust. But then why doesn't Nike protest against the NFL by taking their jerseys out?
That's what I'm saying. That's
Like,
what I was
why
wondering.
is Nike
Because they
still
wanna
in their
make money.
pockets?
Because they want to
Exactly.
make money.
Why is Nike still in their pockets?
Exactly.
These guys aren't showing any type of. It's in itself. It is an oxymoron. Like, there is no point
Right.
for it.
Right.
If they want to support Colin Kaepernick to the fullest,
Right.
take their jerseys.
Right. Let's not get caught in the hype, because this is a marketing ploy. Yes, Nike, thank you for standing up. But let's understand what it is. I'm not gonna go out there and buy myself some Nike just because they did this, right?
Yeah.
I still have to understand that. Do you know who makes these Nikes, right? Oftentimes it's poor children around the world. You know what I mean? Who we would not, right? Who, how we subject these people, we would not subject our children. So
Right,
if Nike
exactly.
really, because again, MLK said injustice anywhere is a threat to injustice everywhere. So I'm saying, why is it that Kaepernick is protesting, right?
So
He's
social
protesting
injustice. Yeah.
because people are not valued. And I'm saying Nike's here saying, oh,
Well, black
Colin
people in
Kaepernick,
particular
yeah,
that aren't valued.
yeah, Colin Kaepernick,
And then
right,
also having to
has a
deal with
good cause, right?
police.
He's
Yeah.
saying that we gotta value people.
Right.
At the same time, they're going out there paying people very, very little for something they make.
A boatload of money.
Right, right. So they're just trying to market here,
Yeah,
right?
it's
And then their stocks just rose, bro. Because people
that-
just buy
that's what they
this
wanted
up.
to do.
We all know that Colin Kaepernick currently is in a case for collusion against the NFL of not being on the team.
Right, that is
So
absolute collusion.
But
Yeah.
well, that's what he's fighting in court right now. I just think that there are QBs that are just not as good as Colin Kaepernick that have a position in the NFL, and he
Right.
should be able to
Right.
have
Right,
a job right now.
right.
And the fact that he does not, I think that is the
That's
most
insane.
upsetting thing
It's
about
insane.
this all. We're gonna sign off here. Thanks for listening into Mainstream Matchups. Thanks again to Chris Young and Sam D. I'm your host, Tyler James. We appreciate your time and look forward to having you join our upcoming podcast next week. Thanks, guys.